Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the finished article, All Things WWE today. We will be talking about the NXT Stand and Deliver pay per view, but I'm going to introduce my co host on this side today, Shazad. I'm going to let him take over and let him just introduce himself, and we'll kick off. Over to you, Shaz.
Yes, peeps. What's happening? It's finally Bank Holiday weekend, and we are going live over the weekend with a coverage of NXT NXT Stand and Deliver Takeover. So what we're going to cover today is the card, our predictions, and we're going to run down through. I'm going to run down through night one, and Shaz is going to run down night two, and we'll give you our thoughts, and we'll take it from there. So without further ado. Let's get into it. Do you want me to cover night one?
Yeah, go for it. You go through night one, and I'll go through night two.
Nice, guys. And guys, before we carry on, please leave a like and subscribe and comments below. And any feedback and comments would be highly appreciated. So to take you through night one, which will be on Wednesday, 7th of April this year, we've got the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. Then you got the NXT UK Championships, Walter, who's current champion, versus Tommaso Ciampa. You've got the NXT Tag Team Championship triple threat match, MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma. And then you've got the Gauntlet Eliminator for the opportunity of the NXT North American title, which will be on night two. So that's Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leon Ruff versus Ronson Reed versus Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Loomis versus LA Knight. And then the last match we've got on the card is Kushida versus Pete Dunne. So as I mentioned, that NXT opportunity will be on night two, which I'm going to hand over to my boy Shaz to cover off.
Thank you. So night two, as Shaz mentioned, is on the second day, Thursday, April 8th. So main event, we have current NXT champion Finn Balor taking on Karrion Kross with Scarlett. We've got the unsanctioned match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Then we have NXT North American Championship, Johnny Gargano, the current champion, taking on the winner of the Gauntlet from night one that Shaz just went through. Then we have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, current champions, taking on The Way, which I believe is Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And then we have the ladder match for the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion. At the moment, they're both carrying around the title. So we've got Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin. So just on that, I'm going to go through a couple of matches that I'm actually looking forward to here.
Go for it.
I'll go through night one. I'm really looking forward to Walter and Tommaso Ciampa. That's going to be a brilliant match. And the NXT Tag Team title triple threat. It's just unfortunate that Danny Burch got injured, I believe. So Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan had to relinquish or vacate the titles.
Yeah.
Now, I believe MSK won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they were due to get a title shot anyway. Now, if you ask me, I think they were gonna win the titles anyway at this pay per view. So I think I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say that they're probably gonna take that. Now, the other matches that I'm actually looking forward to are both on night two. Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. That's going to be a killer match. And the unsanctioned match between two best friends, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. That's just going to be that's going to be off the chain, that unsanctioned match.
No, I absolutely agree. I think for me, the whole card, I think that's the one match I've been looking forward to, especially because we're talking about history from the Undisputed Era, how it all started, and as you guys saw the contract signing, we're all kicked off. So basically talking about, and let's be honest, Adam Cole basically said it how it is. He basically used the group to further his own ambitions and didn't really care a damn about anyone else. Whereas the other guys were saying basically, look, man, we've Kyle O'Reilly was basically saying, look, we've helped you. You haven't acknowledged us, so I think for me that's the
Time to move
standout.
on.
I think the other match that I'm looking forward to is on night one. So that's Leo Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. I think just
Okay.
looking at the previews, I think that's just going to be a blockbuster fight. I think that's definitely got a lot going
It
for it.
will, yeah, that will be a good match, and I think that match is going to be the main event on night one by the
Yeah.
looks of it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's going to be a good match. Now
And
I'm
can
gonna
you
go for
how
it.
would you, and I think from a UK perspective, I think it's just amazing to see that you got Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso
As you know,
Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa is
Yeah,
NXT legend, and I think it'll be one of the highlights of the card.
I mean, if you look at the card, there's 1, 2, 3. So if you look at it, Walter came from NXT UK.
Yeah,
The grizzled young veterans are from NXT UK, and I think yeah, no, that's it for the NXT UK. Oh no, Jordan Devlin, he's from NXT UK as well. Now you've got NXT UK being represented by some of their top talent, and also on that a lot of and also Finn Balor. I know he's not from NXT UK, but he's from the UK. He's from Ireland, so he's representing the UK as well.
I think one of the best decisions that NXT and WWE did was to bring Finn Balor back down to the brand. I
Oh
think
yeah,
he's been
oh yeah,
a tremendous revelation.
definitely.
He's
He's
helped
absolutely
the
killed
brand
it since
grow.
he's come back.
And I'll be honest with you, I think he was badly underused on the main rosters in
Oh, don't get me started on the
Raw and
main roster with
SmackDown.
him, man.
I think they badly put him into
Man,
storylines. Why would you let him win the title and then make him lose it the next night? So for me, this is definitely the best.
It wasn't that he had to lose it the next night though. He got injured, didn't he? When he was so basically him and Seth Rollins. When Finn Balor debuted on Raw, it was brilliant. He beat
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. He went to SummerSlam, I believe it was, fought Seth Rollins and won the Universal Championship. Now because of the buckle bomb they called it the buckle bomb, but it was outside on the
yeah,
barricade.
mhm,
He dislocated or injured his shoulder,
yeah,
and that's obviously why he had to drop the title the next night. Now, I believe if he didn't get injured, he would have had a good, healthy run with the Universal Championship, and he
yeah.
probably could still be in the main events, either on Raw or SmackDown. But when he came back, I don't think they knew what to do with him.
No,
No, I don't think.
this is the thing that disappoints me. So basically, I think they missed a golden opportunity with Finn Balor. So he'd already won the title. Yes, he got injured. He had to give it up. I understand that. But surely the first thing you would do from a creative perspective is to throw him back into the picture because technically he never really lost it. Now,
Yeah,
I think good storylines for me are the fact that you integrate certain characters. So for me, certain standout characters in the current era being Finn Balor, another being Seth Rollins. I think definitely Roman Reigns, since he's had Paul Heyman in his corner and gone heel, has helped. So I think these are the things that help certain characters succeed. And I think he's just, since he came back down to NXT, and especially if you remember the explosive first night he was
yeah,
back and went into Adam Cole and said, but NXT is now Finn Balor. I think that was definitely the highlight
yeah.
of
No,
the
definitely. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on the way that he was used when he first came back after being injured. Um, like I said, I don't think they knew what to do with him from there. I mean, you're right. Yeah, he never lost the title, so he should have been thrown back into the main event. At least get another chance at it. I don't think he got a chance at either Universal Championship or the World Championship when he returned, which it's just ludicrous if you ask me. The guy was the your first ever Universal Champion, and then he just dropped a mid card. Um, and the other thing on that is, if you notice, they had him wearing a rainbow color logo.
Yeah, I remember. Yes.
Now, I think that's stupid. It was to do with the LBGT movement
Yeah,
and all
correct.
that.
Absolutely.
And I believe he supports that movement, which he's in his rights to support whatever he wants. But to have him wear it as part of his ring attire was a bit stupid, if you ask me. I think the way that they were going with it, I heard some rumors that they wanted him to come out as gay, basically.
I think, you know what, you're absolutely right. So one of the things I think with storylines is if you start making it political, bringing all of these different personas like or religious
Hmm.
beliefs or what you believe. You then flounder the lines between a reality show versus politics, and I actually agree with you. So for me, they should have kept that storyline separate, promote it. But the fact is, they made it part of his entrance as well, which
Yeah,
for me I thought was a bit overbearing, and it's not exactly the kind of message I want to be sending young kids these days. That, oh look, we're promoting gay pride all the time. So just for
yeah.
me, I think it was not really sold well.
It
But
wasn't. You're right. You're definitely right on that, and I totally agree with you on where you're coming from with that, Chaz. Um, Now, since he's come back to NXT, though, like you said, he's been, he's. I don't think he's been beat by that many people.
no, he hasn't.
He came back, he won the NXT Championship, and he's been on a roll since then. Now, what I want to see is I want to see him be the first person to beat Karrion Kross
Yeah,
in NXT. The same thing, actually, what happened to Finn Balor has happened to Karrion Kross. He won the NXT Championship by beating Keith Lee, and then he had to relinquish it because of an injury. Now, the difference is he returned. He had a few, let's say, matches to clear the ring rust off for the cruiser. I think he fought Escobar
yeah, correct.
and a couple of other people.
Mhm.
But now, look, he's right back in where he left off. He's going for the championship that he never lost.
Well, here's the thing. So the funny thing is, when the night he won it, they
Mm,
promoted Keith Lee to the big leads, Raw and SmackDown.
yes.
For me, I think that's a blunder. So what you're basically saying is he's dropped the title and you promote him. I don't really know whether that's the right message you want to be sending. Now, I think with Triple H and Shawn Michaels being on NXT, I think they've definitely given the roster some fresh impetus, which I
Oh,
think is
yes. Oh,
fantastic.
yes.
And I think in terms of the actual main roster, I would say NXT is actually a bigger roster than Raw and SmackDown just based on current
100%.
storylines.
100%. It's the way they use the talent on NXT is, if you ask me, it's a lot better than the way they use them on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, correct.
Um, on Raw and SmackDown, you see people. I'm just going to mention it just off the bat. Ricochet. He's not been seen for weeks on after. He hasn't been seen for weeks and weeks, and then he just appears on Raw out of nowhere and gets a match against Drew McIntyre. Where
Yeah.
did I even? I get what the storyline was with Drew McIntyre, but Ricochet hasn't been seen on TV for weeks, and then he comes back on just to lose to Drew McIntyre. That did nothing for Drew McIntyre, and it did nothing for Ricochet. I mean, Ricochet, when he debuted, or towards the start of his Raw run, he actually beat Drew McIntyre, and then Drew McIntyre got injured and had to be off TV for a while. But then he came back and beat Ricochet for no apparent reason.
But
It's like they do
that's
these stupid things for which it doesn't help anyone. Drew McIntyre coming back after injury and then going after Ricochet and beating Ricochet did nothing for Ricochet. It did nothing for Drew McIntyre,
yeah, but it's not going to. That's the thing. That's why I keep trying to tell
and
you.
that's why they don't. That's
What,
why
what,
that should never have happened. That's what I'm trying to
what,
say.
one of the things that myself and Shazad have been discussing over the last couple of weeks, guys, is that the poor storyline that's been written by the creative team needs to improve. I.e., the fact that they're not really spontaneous with the way they put storylines out there. So, as Shaz has highlighted, you got Ricochet comes out of the way, blue nowhere, fights Drew McIntyre. What does that do for either person? Nothing, because there's no incentive. Now you've got the Hurt Business who basically said, "We want you to take out Drew McIntyre," and what they ended up doing was they ended up taking out themselves. So they ended up.
Exactly.
Who were the two guys that they got rid of? Correct me. That was
Shelton Benjamin and
Elton Benjamin and
Cedric Alexander.
exactly. So they've had an internal combustion, which to me just is quite
The
embarrassing.
the
And that,
way the way that we'll come back onto Raw on our next
yeah,
episode about
absolutely,
all things WWE. Um, just because obviously we want to run down this card, we want to talk about this card that we've got for NXT
yeah,
Takeover Stand and Deliver. But yeah, we will definitely come back onto the way WWE are running Raw and SmackDown
absolutely.
and NXT. We'll run through all three on one episode on that. But yeah, we will definitely touch on that, Shaz. That's definitely something I want to talk about.
Nice, nice. So I think what
Um,
we should do now is
Now another thing, another match that I've just want to touch on, Kushida and Pete Dunne. Let's talk about her for a minute. Kushida is one of the best technical wrestlers they've got. on the NXT roster. And Pete Dunne, if you just looking at his matches with Finn Balor, just that you don't need to look any further than that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And Pete Dunne's a good talent as well. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. That's going to be very physical. It's going to be very stiff, that match.
Absolutely.
The other match, I've got a feeling, NXT North American Championship, Johnny Gargano, I think he's going to end up facing, but it's not showing him in the Eliminator there. I don't think he got through to the last six, did he? Austin Theory, the other member of the Way with him. So I reckon it's going to be LA Knight because he's new, and they want to probably give him a push because I don't know if you know who LA Knight is.
I think
Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but he was called Eli Drake in TNA, and that's where he got it. His gimmick is similar. Eli Drake's, yeah, it's Eli Drake definitely. He's got the same type of gimmick where he thinks he's he's some big hot shot and things like that. But yeah, he's a good wrestler, Eli Drake. So I'm quite excited to see what they're going to let him do in NXT.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I think this is probably one of the most exciting cards for NXT I've seen in a while. I think
Exactly.
for me, I think these guys are going to get a push because we've got WrestleMania right around the corner, which we'll also be covering in a separate episode because it's very close to WrestleMania time as well. And I think it's definitely exciting times for NXT and WWE.
No, definitely. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on is Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, because every year it happens. After the night after WrestleMania on Raw, and then you've got SmackDown on the Friday, you get debuts from people from NXT. There's a lot of talk. The reason that they split up the Undisputed Era is to push Adam Cole to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
So this match against Kyle O'Reilly could be his last match at NXT. So it's going to be interesting to see. Are they going to put Kyle O'Reilly over and let him beat Adam Cole and establish himself as a singles competitor? Or are they going to let Adam Cole leave NXT on a high with a win over Kyle O'Reilly? Now, it could be either way, but if it doesn't do anything for Adam Cole to beat Kyle O'Reilly and then go to Raw and SmackDown, it does nothing for him.
No.
The best thing they can do is have Adam Cole put Kyle O'Reilly over and then start his career on Raw and SmackDown, because that will propel Kyle O'Reilly and establish him as a serious threat to the NXT Championship.
I think, in my opinion, just to top off what Shaz has already said, I think Adam Cole's reign in NXT is going to come to an end because I think he's done more than enough. He's long overdue a push up the order, and I think it's time for some fresh emphasis and fresh storylines because, guys, the current storylines are boring, and I think Adam Cole needs to freshen things up.
No, definitely, and a match I'm looking forward to that we could see on Raw if he does get put up is Adam Cole versus AJ Styles. They were part of the Bullet Club together before they joined WWE.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting to see them face off.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if you saw it on NXT. I think it was before the contract signing between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Just before that, Shawn Michaels made an appearance and just basically pulled out a ladder and gave it to Escobar and Devlin as they were in the ring, and basically said, "Unify your championship in a ladder match," which Shawn Michaels made famous by unifying the Intercontinental Championship when he was against Razor Ramon. And then as Shawn Michaels was on his way to the back, Adam Cole was getting ready to come out, and Shawn Michaels just stopped and looked at him like, "Yes, I'm proud of you." Because basically, what Adam Cole has done by turning on one of his best friends is what Shawn Michaels did to Marty Jannetty when he put him through the barbershop window and became the Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, it does.
Adam Cole's got a lot of shades of Shawn Michaels in him. A lot.
But I think this alludes to the point. You've got Shawn Michaels and Triple H promoting NXT. You've got these guys giving fresh impetus and storylines to these guys that actually need it. This is what's missing top of the order. So I think in a funny sort of way, they need to do that bottom up approach whereby they take everybody, put everyone up, and then do that through whole Raw and SmackDown as well. But we'll touch upon that in a separate episode. But
Of
completely
course we
agree
will.
with you, Shaz. I think what we should do now, if it's cool with you, I think we'll run
Yeah,
down the card and give our predictions.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so I don't
Do you
know.
want to go
Do you want?
first, or do you want me to take that?
So I'll let you kick off, and then
Yeah,
I'll go after you. Go
that's
for it,
fine,
bro.
my bro. That's fine, bro. So I'm just gonna bring the card back up. Um, so here we go. I've got the card up. So I'm gonna start with night one. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. Um, it's a hard one, Matt, because Raquel Gonzalez probably does deserve a title run, but Io Shirai has had an amazing run so far, which will probably continue if you ask me. So I'm gonna
Oh,
go down that she's gonna retain.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Io Shirai won it from Charlotte Flair a
She
couple of
did.
months back.
She
She
did.
was defending it, so I think she's had a good run. I
I
mean,
think I
for
think
me,
her run will continue though. That's my prediction
yeah.
on that. Um, this next one, like I said, this is a match I'm looking forward to. Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Now, I'm going to say that Walter's going to retain just because the guy's had a massive run with his title. He's an absolute beast in the ring. I don't know if you saw one of his other title defenses against Dragunov, I believe, on NXT UK. That if you haven't seen that, Shaz, or anybody else who's watching, if you haven't seen Dragunov versus Walter, go find it. It's on YouTube. WWE put that up on YouTube. One of the best matches I've seen. Best matches. So on that though, I'm going to go with Walter to retain just because I don't think that Tommaso Ciampa will beat him on that. The NXT Tag Team Championship triple threat. As I said before, MSK, they've come in, they've won the Dusty Classic Tag Team Tournament. I think they were tipped to win the titles here off Danny Burch and Oney Larkin, and I think that will happen. They'll win by beating, grizzled young veterans and Legado del Fantasma. The next one, like I said, LA Knight. I think he's going to go on and win this gauntlet match, and then go on to face Johnny Gargano on night two. Night two is this NXT Championship main event. I'm really stuck on who to go with on this because I like Karrion Kross, and I think he deserves to take the NXT Championship because he never lost it, and I think he would be a great champion. But then you've got who's going to beat him for the championship, which I think if he does win, further down the line, Finn Balor will take it back off him. But my prediction today for this match is Finn Balor to retain. Unsanctioned match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. I'm going to go with Kyle O'Reilly just because I believe Adam Cole is going to get a push to the main roster. And putting one of his friends over on the way, it'll propel Kyle O'Reilly into the main event by beating one of the former NXT champions. Gargano, like I said, I think LA Knight will win the gauntlet and come and face Gargano for the North American Championship. So I think Gargano will retain just because I don't think LA Knight deserves that much of a push to get a title on his first pay per view. I think he needs to work towards that. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Now, we didn't touch on this earlier, but the titles were given to, was it Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, and then on the same night they lost it to
Yeah,
Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon,
correct.
which I believe was just stupid. And the way the women's tag team championships on NXT are going, based on that, I think they'll drop them to the way. The last match, the ladder match for the undisputed cruiserweight championship. I want to see Jordan Devlin take it because I think he's got a lot of potential and he's got a lot more to give. And there was just one match I actually missed off the off night one, Kushida and Pete Dunne. I'm going to go with Pete Dunne because Kushida, I don't think he's got a lot left to give NXT at this point. So putting Pete Dunne over would be good for both of them. So I'll leave it over to you, Shaz. I'll let you take over and give your predictions on that.
Nice. So going back over to night one for me, the match between NXT Championship Leo Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. I think, as Shaz has already touched upon, it's going to be the main event of night one. And for me, based on everything I've seen so far, I think this is going to be Raquel Gonzalez's time to take over, just because she's dominating the storylines right now. For me, between Walter and Tommaso Ciampa, I think that for me is a straight win for Tommaso Ciampa, just because of his history on NXT. The NXT Tag Team Championships, I think I'd agree with what Shaz had said, so I'd go with MSK to win the title just because of everything they've been through. For me, for the Gauntlet eliminated to face Johnny Gargano on night two, I'm going to actually go slightly differently. I reckon I'm actually going to back Bronson Reed as a wild card to actually go out and win it. And then between Kushida and Pete Dunne, I think for me, it's going to be Pete Dunne that takes the win that night. Moving on to night two. For me, I think that this night is going to be Finn Balor to retain the NXT Championship, just because I think he's got more to give with the storyline. I think the night of the match, for me, between Keith O'Reilly and Adam Cole, I'm actually going to go against what Shaz has said, and I'm actually going to back Adam Cole simply because I just know what WWE are capable of doing, as we all are. They seem to go against the grain and pick something that doesn't make sense to anyone, but that's just my take on that. And then the championship match between Gargano and Night One's winner. I actually think that Gargano will do something shady, as he always does. His good wife will be there to back him up and create some sort of storyline there. So we'll go with Gargano. For me, I think Ember Moon and Shotzi Black are going to retain the tag team championships. And then the last match, the ladder match between Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin, I'm going to give it to Jordan Devlin to come out on top and to unite the championships. So those are my predictions. That's what I think. Guys, anyone in the comments that's watching, please leave a like and subscribe and let us know what your thoughts and who you think is going to actually take the cards for the night. And we'll obviously do a post-match reaction following NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, so we'll probably do it. We'll probably do a video on our take on TakeOver and WrestleMania because so you've got TakeOver and then I believe that's on Wednesday, Thursday. Then you've got Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday is WrestleMania. So potentially we could just do it in one video, really. On the Monday, get it all out of the way in one video, get it out there. So yeah, again, as Shaz said, leave your thoughts and comments on this card, your predictions down below. And yes, one other thing, we are on the race to 100.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying by that is we're on the race to get 100 subscribers. So please, if you can, take a few seconds out, hit the subscribe button. The videos that you like on the channel, hit a like, give it a thumbs up. Let us know that you like it. Those are the type of videos that we'll keep continuing to do.
We are also looking for you guys to share it on your social media platforms as well. So if there's anything, your Twitter, your Facebook feeds, please feel free to share them out there. Get more people watching, because the more followers and comments and feedback we have from you guys, the better. Also, we'll also be covering different segments coming, but I'm not going to spoil that in this episode. Tune in to find out what else we've got.
There will be a couple of new segments coming up shortly in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Shaz says, we're not going to spoil that for you. You'll have to stay tuned and watch those. But yes, we will be back tomorrow with all things football. So tune in and hear us talk more on football. But that
Absolutely.
is for it today. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks very much for the people that have subscribed and liked and commented. It's all appreciated. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will be doing a giveaway. So what I want to do is people that have already subscribed and people who will continue to subscribe, or the new subscribers, sorry. So once we hit 100, we will be doing a giveaway. I'm not going to tell you what the prize is. I know, and I will be letting Shaz know what that prize is soon. Actually, I haven't even told him myself. But yeah, once we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway. It'll be done live. All the names will be popped into a hat. We'll announce the winner live. So yeah, hit the subscribe button if you want to be in a chance to win something. Thanks very
Absolutely.
much, and see you tomorrow.
Until guys, take care.